here's what I'll tell you at these speakings that I always say. I'm dead set against, like, there's two people that I believe that you should give money to coach you, right? It's you and Andy Elliott. That's it.
Dang.
Nobody else. Everybody else I think it's fake. I mean, you got God. God could be your coach, you know? Like, you got the good Lord. You can go to him at any time, 24 hours a day. Get on your knees, pray. He'll answer your prayers. Everybody else that I've seen, like, there's these dudes out here just so fake, out there just videoing everything, helping bums on the street and don't give a shit about nobody. Like, there's so many people that are just faking the funk. And I tell people at these speakings, like, you want a coach? You want a man to coach you? You want another man to make you better? Pray. God's there.
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a real treat. As always, Josh Scott in the house. Country music extraordinaire.
Well, extraordinaire is probably a little. We're working on extraordinaire, but when we're in Brad Lee's office, we're extraordinary for sure. We rise up in here.
Artist of the Year or some shit like that.
2021 Song of the Year.
Yeah, song of the year, Artist of the Year. Yeah, same thing to
shit.
Me. Yeah. But dude, what's been going on? This is your second time on.
No, this is actually the first time on.
It is?
Yeah, first time on.
I thought you came here once.
I came here once. We hung out. You signed a book for me and hung out with you a little bit. But we talked about doing this and we never did.
Oh, shit, dude. My bad. Yeah. So it's your first time
First time on. We talked about it when I won Song of the Year. I came in and I was up here in Vegas. That's when Dane introduced us, I think. And I came in here and just hung out. You were kind to me. You gave me lots of good advice. And you gave me your book, signed it, and gave me your phone number.
Did you ever read it?
I did read it. I read it twice. I really did. I read it twice. And you brought your wife out to one of my shows and hung out. And I thought that was probably one of the coolest things ever for, because I was just getting started in the music business. And I remember that night out in the middle of the desert by this old ragged ass lake, you brought your wife, you flew out and brought your wife out on her birthday to my show. And I thought that was pretty cool, man, to have you out there. Cause when you first get started in this stuff, you look up to people like yourself and all you've done, like just with social media and how you've turned it into this career to where just everything you say, people listen to all day long. And I do, all the clips, all the stuff you say. And I thought it was cool. I mean, I thought it was really cool having you there. And I had Carrie Lake there that night and had Daryl Worley out of Nashville. And I just thought it was cool. All those people came to an event that I put together. It meant a lot, man. It did mean a lot. So, and then every time I've called you in some times where, I think I called you during that when I was out in Lynchburg, the middle of nowhere in a trailer. And I thought I had this great thing. And then I called you and showed you the contract and you're like, fuck them, so, yeah, man, you've been cool to me. You've always answered the phone. You've always been there to give me some advice. And I think that, there's a lot of value in that. So I appreciate that.
Well, shit, dude. Appreciate that. Now, what have you been up to?
So I've been up to, I got a new album I'm doing. And,
by the way, before I forget, where can people find you at Josh Scott?
Josh Scott Music.
Josh Scott Music. And what about a website?
Josh Scott Music.
Josh Scott Music. Instagram?
At Josh Scott Music.
Josh Scott Music. You guys can't fuck that up.
Can't fuck that up. It's just Josh Scott Music. Google me, you find it all. So, basically, like I think I've got this. I know I got this magical story and this miracle that God's worked in my life since prison. I've never got to tell it, and I've never got to really tell the story on a platform like this. I've told pieces of it like on KNIX and stuff, but I think like God's worked like these things in my life to where I think it's special and people should hear like this stuff. And I did sign that NDA where I'm not allowed to talk about the Jack Daniels thing, but I'm going to talk about it finally. I
wouldn't.
I want to.
You want my advice?
I want to talk about it.
Don't do it if you sign an agreement. Dude, number one.
Let him sue me.
You don't want that.
I think I do.
You don't. Well, I mean, you're a grown man, but dude, listen, at the end of the day, a very, very, very wealthy individual told me one time, avoid lawsuits at all costs. Now, you don't have to say who's the party. As long as you don't identify the parties, you can talk about it.
Let's do that. Let's not identify the party and talk about it.
Yeah, so it's not Jack Daniels, it's John Daniels.
John, he's he's an asshole.
One time we were drinking and they were drinking Jack Daniels, and I said, dude, hand me some of that fucking John Daniels. And they go, it's Jack Daniels. And I said, not when you've known him as long as I have.
Yeah, so I've known old John for a long time. I've got him tattooed on the inside of my arm. Old John Daniels. And, I went from Song of the Year in 2021 to where I thought I was going top of the world. You know, I'd been to prison. I've been from prison to meeting Ray Herndon to Song of the Year so fast, coaching my daughter's high school basketball team. Like, you know, the miracles that I've had is like from prison to being a head coach of a high school basketball team, getting a check from a government was already the first miracle, you know. And all those nights I was away, I just prayed that, you know, I'd get a chance to be a good dad again. So let me be a good dad again, get back in my daughter's life and my son's life, and be, you know, have some kind of impact, a good impact. And I did. He allowed me to be a head coach at a high school out of prison, which you never get to do that. Getting a check from a prison, driving a bus for all these girls, and like just insane that I got to spend all that time in and out of the locker room with her. Now she's playing basketball in Maryland. So that was the first miracle. And then meeting Ray Herndon and all these Nashville connections, and then, you know, recording that album with Ray and those Nashville guys and getting accepted into that small circle of a group in Nashville, like within a year, was like insane. Then we get the Song of the Year in 2021, and we're getting to come through Vegas to play on the Heart Music Awards. You know, I mean, I was at KNIX. Part of the thing was we get to come up here and play. We were 2 slots behind or in front of Taylor Swift and 1 spot ahead of Big Baby. I don't know who Big Baby is, but I guess he's a big deal. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know Big Baby.
You know who Big Baby is?
There's Big Baby, Little Baby.
Big Baby. So there's like a Big Baby guy.
Bad Bunny.
So Ray and I.
There's a Bad Bunny now.
There's a Bad Bunny too. Yeah, there's a Bad Bunny. I'm sure it's a Bad Bunny too. So I get this, you know, Ray and I are preparing for this 3 minutes and 30 seconds of being, you know, showcased in front of the world. And I thought, this is going to change. This is going to change my life right here. I'm going to go from, you know, 25, 30 Instagram followers to a couple million people seeing me. Like even if I were to get 25% of that market right there, that's a huge deal of 2 million viewers. And we get up here and we're not vaccinated. And you have to be vaccinated in order to you know, to play. And I knew Ray, old school Ray, 1996 CMA Artist of the Year, you know, country boy, singing love songs and steel guitars. And like, I said, you know, what are you thinking on this? And he's like, what do you think? And he's like, I'm going to let you make this decision because, you know, it's your song and I'm playing guitar for you and singing harmony. And I was like, I don't think I can get vaccinated. He's like, I don't think I can either. So that opportunity went away. Shortly after that opportunity, I was supposed to sing the national anthem at the Arizona Cardinals game on Christmas Day. Just another worldwide thing where everybody's watching football on Christmas Day. That was the game. And the Bidwells, got to be vaccinated in order to sing the national anthem. Like this is right when COVID started, when everybody was just scared. And don't get me wrong, I was scared too. I didn't know nothing about it. I thought everybody was dying. I thought, shit, I'm scared of COVID too for my family. And but I didn't think it was smart just to jab this 3-month vaccination they had all of a sudden in my body. So I just did what I thought was right. I didn't take that, so those opportunities were lost. And I was like, wow, what if that would happen? And then I'm doing a show, Handlebar J, a couple weeks later, and Carrie Lake's videoing me on her phone. And she's like videoing my show, and I'm looking out there, and it's like Carrie Lake. I grew up watching her on Fox 10, you know. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Carrie's in here. And afterwards, she says, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And I just wrote a song called Redneck Enough to Be Dangerous because I was pissed off about, you know, I was writing. I know this guy in flip flops who's out in the middle of the desert writing shit, you know, who's all blew up now, like writing these songs about what's going on. I wrote this song way before any of the other dudes. You know, Redneck Enough to Be Dangerous was about what's going on, what happened to me. You know, you got to be in the right place at the right time, which he was. He said the message, and you know, he had his dog out in the middle of nowhere, and it was easy on the eyes, I guess. But Carrie came up and said, hey, I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes. And so I went and had a couple beers with her and Jeff, her husband, and she's like, hey, I think it's honorable what you did. How you've been fresh out of prison and you could have took this and you could have took that and you didn't. She's like, would you mind singing this song like on my campaign trail? I'm running for governor, and I'd love to have you introduce me and sing Redneck Enough to Be Dangerous, tell your story. And I was like, for you? And she's like, yeah, I'm running for governor, and I'd like for you to be there with me. I know you've been to prison. I know your story. It's not about what you've done. It's about where you're going, what you want to do. So at that moment, I just was like, Carrie Lake's amazing, you know. And so we started doing that. And the cool story about that is that night when she heard my story, I didn't see her for a few weeks. And she came back and she told me, she says, you know, after talking to you that night and spend some time with you, we had somebody on her crew, on her staff, that they had fired because he lied about being in prison. And she went and sought him out and rehired him. I thought that was pretty cool because, you know, she said the story I told her and where I've been and what I'd done. She went and rehired this guy they fired from prison. So
why? Because he was in prison?
Because he was in prison. He lied, said he wasn't.
Well, you shouldn't necessarily lie, but sometimes you're kind of forced to.
Yep.
And you know what's better than lying? Just straight up omitting.
Oh yeah, omitting. Yeah, omitting is pretty. Yeah,
What'd you go to prison for?
Organized crime. Organized crime, fraudulent schemes, white collar stuff. White collars. It started out here in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
2010. I was playing at the Golden Nugget. I had to stay at the Golden Nugget, record deal, making $9,000 a week, and I spent about 9 months on Fremont Street, and I never got further than the Walgreens. Never left. Cocaine, women. Drugs, $9,000 a week. I never had a penny to my name. I ended up owing these guys about 180 grand.
You were partying like a rock star.
Yeah, I was just doing drugs and singing.
So you're supposed to be you weren't supposed to be partying like a rock star, Josh. You're supposed to be partying like a country star.
Yeah, I should have been. Country stars
different though.
They don't just hang out on Fremont Street. I was in the wrong spot. So that was the first.
People think country stars are all nice. They don't do nothing wrong, and then the rock stars are all banging women and doing coke.
Yeah.
When in reality.
Yeah, I was a rock star singing love songs, singing country love songs with steel guitars and fiddles and stuff. So that's where it started, and I ended up owing these guys just a ton of money, These guys,
these guys,
just some guys, man, that were coming around, and I was getting cocaine, and then then after the cocaine came, a guy said, "Hey, you need a bookie? You want to make some bets on some games?" They seen that I was making $9,000 in 3 days, so I had $9,000 every week. They ended up kind of figuring out my schedule, and they'd always come around with what I needed or what I didn't need. And, hey, you want to make some bets on these games? And, I started getting in debt, and they were just cool with me getting in debt because I was popping off just $9,000 a week to them, And sometimes I'd win a little bit, so I'd have a little more to give them. And then I ended up owning about $180,000. And one day when I came off the stage, there was a different guy there. Like, it was always some younger guys that were dealing with me. And then there was a different guy there, and I came off the stage, and I seen the guy in the crowd, and I just knew that it was one of those guys. And so, I tried to skirt out, and another guy was back behind the stage. He's like, "Hey, this dude needs to talk to you." And I was like, "All right," and I went over there, and he's like, "Hey, you got 10 days to square up this debt you have with the show. It's $180,000, and if you don't, we're gonna have to do something different." And I was like, "Well, what's something different?" I said, "I don't know how I'm gonna get $180,000 in 3 days." I was like, "Can I make another bet? Can I make like a $90,000 bet real quick, see if I could flip that money for you?" He's like, "No more. Your credit's stopped for now." And he's like, "We'll figure it out. You get 10 days." So 10 days went by, and he came back, and he's like, "Here's what you need to do. Here's the schedule." And so they had me driving stuff from New Mexico area back here, 3 cars. And so I did two clean ones, and I don't know how much they were taking off at the time. I just knew I had this thing I had to do. So on Monday, Tuesday, I was doing these drives, and I'd go work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I'd give them that money, and then I'd go back to do it again. And so the third time I did it, I got pulled over for doing 78 and a 75, and it was complete setup. I feel like they just I was the guy to get caught with that thing that time, and
because they don't pull you over at 78.
No, and I was in a Cadillac. I was in a clean car that they had for me, and it was like there's no way I should get pulled over, and I got pulled over. It was pretty clear to me at that time that I was supposed to get pulled over. They held me in the feds thing in Florence because it was Pinal County. It was where I'm from, was where I got pulled over, and so I went to the feds for about a year and a half, and they kept coming to me right before my son's birthday, my daughter's birthday, Christmas. All you gotta do is tell on these guys. All you gotta do is listen. We got all these pictures. We know who they are. We know they're using you. You're singing country music and got caught up. Just go ahead and just let us get you out of here. And I was like, I'm pretty sure these dudes will probably hurt my family or if I tell. So I just can't tell. So finally, they came, and then they released me. Then I just got released. They were like, "All right, you can go." Doors popped one day, and I was like, "Wow." So I was like, "I got this new life. I got another chance. Thank you, God." And I went and started working on the farm, just 12, 14 hours a day, just working on a sod farm, loving my life. I was like, this is great. I got another chance at life. They reinstated this probation I was on. 2.5 months into that, all of a sudden I see these 2 Ford F-150s just come across the middle. We're out in the middle of the country in Eloy, and I just see these 2 F-150s just come across. I'm in a big tractor, chopping the fields, chopping the sod, getting it ready to replant. And they pull up, this big old black dude gets out, and he's like, "Scott, you got to go to court." I got to go to court. And I was like, "Keep it real, man. I'm going to jail, right?" "Yeah, you're going to jail." So I get out.
But why? They let you go.
The feds let me go. So now the county, the state of Arizona, picked it back up. So they picked up those charges, same charges, refiled them for me. So now they refiled them for me. I'm in county jail.
They refiled them for you. Like they did you a favor.
They did me a favor. So, and just to tell you how tough that was. So I go from thinking I'm free to back to new charges. I fight that. I get 6.5 years in prison for all that stuff. Go to prison. 2 weeks into prison, my phones aren't on. Getting into the, after the county jail thing, phones aren't on. I talk to my mom on the phone. Somebody gives me like they call them 3-ways, when a buddy of yours patches you through to your family. I get down and talk to my mom, tell her I love her. She's crying. She's telling me she loves me. And, I told her I'm sorry for the mistakes I made. And then, 2 days later, my mom dies. She dies in her sleep out here. She lived out here in Vegas, and she died in her sleep at 53. Just died in her sleep. And I got that news when my phones were off, couldn't talk to my family. So I went through some depression there. Later on in my prison sentence, April 26th, which is my brother. So my brother Scotty, my older brother, he kind of taught me how to play basketball. He kind of taught me all the stuff I know about street smarts, and he also taught me how to get in trouble and all that stuff. But I loved him. He was a good dude, and he OD'd on heroin and died. So I got that news on April 9th, day after my dad's death. And then April 26th, I'm 3 weeks from going home, which is my birthday. They call me into the warden's office and tell me, Maricopa County's page 2 in you. They held back one charge they didn't file 6 years ago. You're going back to county. So I'd given all my shit away, going home, give everything away. You're going home, and now I got to start all over. I start the whole process over at like 5.5 years. So go back to Maricopa County, fight this one charge. Got $25,000 on a lawyer. The whole process all over again, and I get another 4 years on top of it. So I get stacked.
Did they do that on purpose?
Yeah, they did it on purpose.
Bastards.
Yeah, they did it on purpose. And
dirty dogs.
Dirty dogs. So that was like, I was like, when am I going to catch a break? But what I did, I think that was the break. Was I came back. I was mad. I was fighting. I wanted to fight everybody. Anybody who ever said anything bad about me while I was gone, like anybody who didn't have my back when I was gone, I was picking fights, and I was just like I was being irresponsible. I wasn't being a good person.
Like legit fist fights.
Yeah, legit fist fights. I was just like me. I was mad at the world that I got this other time. So like, if I was gone and I heard somebody talk bad about me or didn't have my back, but whatever it was, I was looking for fights. So they bumped me up in custody. I went to a 3-yard. 3-yard, I did the same thing. So now they put me on the 4-yard with all the killers and like all these just dudes who are never getting out. So I'm like a white collar guy who went from a 2-yard to like this 4-yard where my cellie was this dude who's got horns on his head, bald headed dude, JR was his name. And he was just crazy doing meth in the cell and just looking out the windows thinking people are coming for him in the middle of the night and shit. And I'm like just eyes open, just like it's insanity, right? But I walk out of this thing and we're on the way to chow one day, and I see this little closet, and I see this guy named Timmerman. Timmerman was a CO, and he walked up to me. He said, "Hey, you're Josh Scott." I said, "Yeah." He's like, I seen 2 of your shows in Vegas, man." He's like, "You're a really, really good artist." He's like, "We got a little music room down here," and I hadn't heard music in 8 years, 7 years, whatever long it was. I hadn't heard no real instruments, no nothing. There was no band rooms at the places I was at. So this little hole in the wall place, I walked in there and I heard this live music, and it's like. My heart opened again. I was like, wow, it's a beautiful sound. And so he's like, "Hey, you want me just to hire you in here? You can work in the music room all day and just like hang out in here and do what you want." And he's like, "That'd be your job." And so I said, "Yeah, I would." So that turned into like doing shows for the yard, and then like, that 600-700 people on this yard, and I'm doing that. I'm out there doing shows on the yard, and like it's like you got 700 killers and people who just done bad shit, just no noise. While I'm out there doing 30-minute show, and it made me fall in love with music all over again right before I got out. So then there was an officer named Duhan who heard my story, and he came and helped me get out. He got me 3 months off because I got to a place where I couldn't get that time back. And I had some people that were really kind to me, like now these guys, Duhan and some of these cops that are supposed to be against me, who helped me in the end of my sentence and felt bad about what I went through. Now come to my shows, and we call them back and forth, and I met a couple of really, really good dudes who are supposed to be on the other side of it at the end of it. But I do believe like that plan that the extra time I had turned into me falling in love with music again. Getting out the perfect time to coach my daughter for 3 years where they needed a head coach, and then meeting Ray Herndon and being able to fall into that music thing that I fell into. I believe that was an act of God. It was a miracle. I believe, the timing where I met Dane to be able to come meet you and have this contact with you. I mean, fresh out of prison, like to be able to call you on the phone for advice. I just did like my first big speaking. And here's what I'll tell you at these speakings that I always say. I'm dead set against like, there's two people that I believe that you should give money to coach you, right? It's you and Andy Elliott. That's it.
Dang.
Nobody else. Everybody else, I think it's fake. I mean, you got God. God could be your coach, you know? Like, you got the good Lord. You can go to him at any time, 24 hours a day. Get on your knees, pray. He'll answer your prayers. Everybody else that I've seen, like, there's these dudes out here just so fake, out there just videoing everything, helping bums on the street and don't give a shit about nobody. Like, there's so many people that are just faking the funk. And I tell people at these speakings, like, you want a coach? You want a man to coach you? You want another man to make you better? Pray. God's there. He's there 24 hours a day. I prayed every night. And he answers prayers. He might not answer them right now, but he will answer your prayer. It might not be what you want, but it's what you need. You pray to God. He's not going to get you out of it, but he'll get you through it. You know, these are all things that we all have if we pray to God. But there's two people in this world, I do believe, that if you're going to need a coach, if you do need that man, if you do need that guidance, then to be able to call this dude, call Brad Lee, call Andy Elliott. Those two dudes, they'll get you through it too. You know.
Well, I would say, I agree, but there are a few others out there, but there's a lot of shit talkers for sure.
And maybe there is. I'm just saying from what I know.
And what's funny is as of, I think, I'm not even sure what date, but you won't have to call Andy or Brad. You can call Andy and Brad.
Oh, it's coming together?
We're putting together something called the Revolution.
I like it.
It's just him and I, boom, showing people the way.
Yeah.
All, from business, relationships, fitness, everything that a fool would want, even spirituality.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I've watched a lot of stuff, and for me, it's hard to be inspired by another man. Like you two do it for me. You two inspire me. I could watch him, I could watch you, and it's inspiring. It's because it's true. You mean it. You mean what you're saying. It's real. And you could tell real from phony, right? And I could tell. And like when I watch you guys talk, and sometimes I don't even like the shit you say because it hits me like, oh, damn, he's talking to me. I need to fix that, right? But it's real. It's raw. It's the truth. You're not trying to fake what you're saying for anybody to sell something to somebody. You're telling it how it is, what you feel, what you've lived. Those are that's a good quality because everybody else is trying to say what they think you want to hear to be a coach. Call me, give me your money. I'll get you in better shape. I'm going to change your life. I'm a self-made millionaire. Buy my book. Man, fuck you. That's a lie. That's a lie on most points. Right? It's a lie. I got a song about a guy in one of my songs, man. It's called Barely Getting By. And it says in the song that I'm writing, the song that I have is like, maybe this guy could, maybe go give this guy your money and, buy a book instead of digging that ditch you're in. And, you won't be digging that ditch tomorrow. You'll be a self-made millionaire too, but it's a phony piece of shit. It's all it is. And so I hate seeing it. I hate seeing these dudes who are taking advantage of other people because there's dudes out there who are really helping people. Like I do believe you and Andy are helping people. So it's worth it, right? It's worth it when you can go get the help you need and the guidance you need and get sent in the right direction, the contacts, all the right information. And then the dudes who are like feeding off of you guys who want to be that, who are fake, just make me sick to my stomach. Sick.
Are there any you want to point out?
I mean, Peter Meyerhoff's one of them.
Ooh. Really?
Yeah.
I only know him a little bit, but
well, if you know him a lot, I only know him a little bit too. I know that the dude ain't ever helped nobody if he ain't recorded it. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't believe he's a self-made millionaire. I don't believe he sold a bunch of books either.
Does he claim to be?
Yeah.
Oh,
claim to be a self-made millionaire. Here's a story. I'll tell you a raw story. We're at the casino one night. And this is going to be raw. This is dropping bombs right here. We're dropping bombs right here.
We are.
So we're dropping bombs right here. I
thought you were going to talk about the old John Daniels program.
We haven't got there yet. That's a big bomb. So I'm one night out fighting with my wife who, we're going through a separation right now. And but I'm out with him and Mario Cannon and we're just, I'm out drinking and just going through, having good times. Peter's doing his thing, whatever. And I ran out of money and I get $500 from Peter. He's like, "Here, take this, man. It's all good. We're having a good time." You know what I mean? So it's $500. A few days, and Peter was like, I was on his podcast a while back when he first started his podcast, and so $500 he gave me, and it was a few days went by, and I didn't pay him back yet. And I was thinking I didn't want to pay him back. I just didn't feel like it. So some more time went by, and he started messaging me, saying, "I'm going to tell your wife what we did that night if you don't pay me back." And it's okay. That's cool, man. Go ahead and tell her, you know. So he did. He started Messenger, my wife on Messenger, like saying, like, have Josh call me, or, you know, I need to divulge some information to you. So she's like, hey, what the hell is this dude? What is this? I'm like, I don't know. Ask him, you know.
Sounds like blackmail.
Sounds like blackmail, right? So he blackmailed over $500. And also he went to Dane, told Dane, hey, I need to borrow some money because Josh took all my money. So he made Dane believe he gave me like 15 grand when he gave me $500. You know, he said he's broke. This self-made millionaire is broke, borrowing money from Dane because he loaned me $500. So then I paid him back. Told him fuck off. Don't talk to me no more. I don't talk to him no more. He's now like, this dude was in prison too. And, you know, listen, I'm in prison. I'm not a racist person, but, you know, like you go to prison, you just say you're about it and all this stuff. And he had white pride blasted on him. And, you know, now he's out. He got the white pride off. He braids his hair and he's married to a black woman, you know. So now he's you know, I don't know if he fucks with white people anymore. But he's self-made millionaire. Do what you want after that. Braid your hair, all kinds of shit. So, yeah, if you need to, you know, you want some good advice, go get coached by Peter Meyerhoff. He'll send you in the right direction. Be a self-made millionaire in no time.
Hey, you want to spend an hour a week with me helping you become a business badass? Well, check out my group in the link below.
Well, wow.
Yeah, you got
Interesting.
a little funny right there, Brad. There you go, get that off. Yeah,
That's
that was
interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, you know, I feel like that's my get back for getting blackmailed. You know, blackmailed with my wife there. Here we go. To get on the dropping bombs club. Yeah. And here's the deal. He idolizes you. Like
Peter?
Peter idolizes you. Peter idolizes you. So this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt.
Dude, listen, you know, just in the future, you wouldn't want to draw attention to people that you don't endorse. See, so now you got people looking him up.
I'll help him out a little bit. He needs it.
But again, just in the future, you don't really want to do that. You want to keep them on the down low. So
you could have used that advice 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. I didn't even know you were going to bring I didn't know you guys even knew each other.
Yeah, we know each other.
So
and there's one more bomb I could drop, but I won't do that to him. We'll wait.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it sounds like, you know, if he did everything you're saying he did, which it sounds like he did, well, then that's uncool. You don't want to.
Not cool.
You know, but he was probably, you know, that's his way to get you to pay him.
Yeah.
It worked.
It worked. He got me. I'm just saying, if that's the coach you want in your life, I mean.
It's not, but I'll tell you, you know, my coaching, and I don't have coaching, but my book, which is coaching, it says relationships over money. Like I would have valued the relationship over the money. I would have said, dude, give me my money. I need my money. But,
for sure.
But relationship over money. I'm not going to burn a relationship over $500 or quite frankly, over any amount of money. I've done it before and it costs you. And believe it or not, the relationship's worth more than the money. Anyway.
1,000,000%. Man,
especially when it's $500.
1,000,000%. And he got paid back, but the way he handled it, and, you know, should I have paid him back in a more timely manner? Absolutely. I'm wrong for that. You know, I should have got him his money back right away. I didn't. It took a week or two before I paid him, and then, you know, in that week or two, he decided to, you know, to reach out to my wife personally.
Is that why you guys are getting separated?
Oh no, there's was one of the reasons we're getting separated.
What were you doing that he was narking on?
Well, I mean, we were just at the casino, and, like, you know, there's what we were doing is unimportant. You just gave me some good advice. I'm going to use it.
All right, so let's talk about John Daniels. So
John Daniels was part of the Song of the Year. They were part of the Song of the Year, and after I won the Song of the Year, they were like on board. The song was That Bottle.
They loved you.
They loved me. That bottle, you know, she's that bottle of fire that burns through the sky. It was everything that a whiskey company would want to, you know, to brand with what makes sense. It just makes sense. That bottle, you know, That Bottle, John Daniels. They were a sponsor of the song when I won Song of the Year. And as soon as COVID happened, you know, they promised me all these things at Camp John, and but they like wouldn't take pictures with me without being masked up. They wouldn't. It just went. John Daniels. And so this, like,
what do you mean masked up?
I mean, like, fully masked. They couldn't take pictures unless they had.
Who couldn't?
Anybody that worked for Jack Daniels, John Daniels, the representatives of them that I was taking pictures with and that I was working with, they were super, like, this company that I thought was like the most down home. They've got the same place that they've had, the same workers. It's all one facility. Everything that gets shipped out of that place all across the world comes from one spot that man created all those years ago. So they just fell off the map. They fell off the map and went away for about 2 years. I'd say about 8 months ago, I get this package at the house. I get a package from John Daniels, and it says, Josh, we want to have you out at Camp John. We want to bring you out and, you know, make this right. They sent me all this stuff and all.
Make what right? I don't think we talked about what went wrong.
So what went wrong was COVID happened, and all the things that I was supposed to get when I won the Song of the Year with them, they just disappeared. They told me we were going to do some things, and they just fell off. I never heard from them again. I thought it was over. So 2 years went by. COVID kind of we all realized what COVID really was. It's kind of slipped through and everybody got back to being normal, And so they sent me this thing at the house. I got it. It was John Daniels shirts and this and that and like a package saying, hey, we want to fly you out to Nashville and have you out at Camp John, I was like, wow, all right, cool. Maybe this is going to be the thing. So they fly me out to Nashville. They put me in this fancy hotel the first night, and then they pick me up the next morning. They take me out to Camp John. And
is that in Lynchburg?
Yeah, in Lynchburg. Their facility. They had me out in their facility for 3 days. 3 days they had me out there. I get there, they take me to my Airstream. This big Airstream's got my name on it. Welcome, Josh Scott, winner of Song of the Year, that bottle. I walk in, there's this big old thing, and then there's a contract laying there. And there's a contract laying right next to the thing, and they leave me alone in my trailer. And so I look at this contract and I start almost crying. I'm like, this is it right here. You get put with John Daniels. It's like the world's going to know who I am. What about this money, this $300,000? It's tax free also there. You sign this there, you get it all. That would have been life-changing money for me at that time. That's a lot of money for me at that time, $300,000. And, it wasn't anything. I just seen it. I thought, this is it. They're going to use that bottle. They're going to campaign it. Their reach across the world is going to make, everybody know me. And whether you like the song or don't like the song, the people that do like the song, there's going to be plenty. That money had meant nothing. It meant all the money I was going to get for being a part of John Daniels. And I was just, that first night, I had a representative there, one of their main representatives that came down and was guiding me through the thing. They took me to dinner, took me on this tour, showed me where John Daniels died, where he kicked his safe and died. I was in his real office. They took me to the stream where the first bottle, they took me to the 5th floor and they let me drink out of an aged barrel that had been aged for all this time straight from the barrel. I got to just drink. I was at John Daniels' mother's house, where it's a restaurant now where they cook this wholesome food and feeding meals across the town of Lynchburg. I felt like a superstar. All going into the banks, people knew who I was. I was like, yeah, I was just good. And then I didn't even sleep that night. I called Ray, Ray Herndon, who's like my hero. He's the one I walked into Handlebar J, and he's from McBride and the Ride. And that night I tapped him on the shoulder and said, sir, I think I got some good songs. And he listened. And then, he just took me in and helped me make this music. He's my hero. And I called him that night, him and his wife, Joanne. And I'm like, we got a contract. We got a deal for this, that. But he was happy too for me. And he's a songwriter on it. He's a songwriter. He put the music to it. He helped bring it to life. And, I was crying. Happy tears. I thought, this is it. This is going to change my family. I'm going to be able to do some, things for my kids. This is going to, it was a 2-year deal to use that bottle and whatever they wanted to use it for.
And that bottle is a song.
That bottle is Song of the Year in 2021. Yeah, 2021 iHeartRadio Song of the Year, John Daniels Song of the Year. And so day 2, I'm on this tour with these guys, and all of a sudden this little guy pops into our thing, and he's part of the tour, and his name was Tony something, but he was a painter. He won a competition as well as an art competition. He was really talented dude. I could tell he's probably gay. He's probably homosexual. It's homosexual. Turns out Tony was homosexual, and I said, "Hey man, what's your deal?" And he's like, "Oh, I won a art contest, and I'm out here." I'm gonna be part of this thing they're doing, this promotion they're doing. I was like, cool, that's awesome, man. Congratulations, I didn't put too much thought into it. I was still pretty riding this high. And then later on that night, like 7:30, we're getting ready to go to dinner, and it was just me and Tony and this thing, this tour they're taking us on, just showing us everything, just just treating us great, get to know everything about their company and all the people that work there, all the just different families that work there and their sons, and all the way the history. It's a really cool history. You got people that have worked there since their families that have just their kids and their grandkids. Everybody's worked for this place and lived in this little town. It's really impressive. And that night a car rolls up, and this man gets out of this car, and he's a man, but you could tell he's trying hard to be a woman. He comes over into our thing. He's gonna eat dinner with us, and I say, hey, what's your name? And he tells me his name. He's like, so what's your deal? And he's like, well, I've been a man for 37 years. I've raised my family. I've raised my kids, and I've been married, and I just can't be a man no more. I've been this woman my whole life, and it's time for me to transition. And I was like, yeah, all right. Well, so what are you doing here? You know, he's like, there's that bottle video and thing where, you know, they've asked me to come be a part of it. I was like, what? You know, like what? And so I got with my representative, and he says, yeah, you know, we put together this thing to where we want to show these other companies. You know, Bud Light just failed miserably with what they did, and these other companies, they said we want to do this thing to where we can support a conservative country artist with the troubled past. We can support the man who feels like a woman, and we can also support, you know, a gay person, and we don't have to pick one. We don't have to pick any of them. We can just support them all. I was like, but with my song, right? Is what you're saying? You can support them all with that bottle, like she's that bottle, but like he's. You know what I mean? I was like, you understand? They're like, yeah, what we do with the song, and you know what we do with that, it's gonna be. We're gonna support each artist individually and not pick one. And so, I just couldn't do it. At that point, like I knew I just could not be a part of that. Like I got a daughter that I love very much, and I feel like if I would have been a part of that, I'm cool with just guys feeling like a woman that day and going to the bathroom with my daughter in the stall. You know, going in that bathroom and going in. That's what I'm representing. So. I told them, you know, I found out kind of what they were thinking, and that was the plan they'd put together. Their marketing company, they put that plan together. It's what they were sticking with. I tried to back off of it and just say, hey, buy the song from me then. Just buy the song, do what you want with it, and then I don't have to be a part of it, you know? You can do what you want with this song, and that would even been hard for me to do probably, but I was like, just buy this song, do what you want with it. That way I don't have no say in it. But no, they had this whole other plan, and then so I said, you know, I can't be a part of that. And they told me, well, you know how many, like, fans you're going to have? You know, like just as soon as John Daniels just presses this through the, hope you got an edit button on this thing, beep, beep, beep. You know, when we push this out, like how many fans you're going to have? I said, yeah, the fans that I'm going to have are going to realize that, like, when they go look at the rest of my stuff, redneck enough to be dangerous, I'm walking around with Kerry Lake with a flag in my hand, they're going to throw rocks and shit at me because they know I'm not really into that, right? So I'm going to get these fake fans, and the true fans that I've had, the real people that I've built and the friendships that I've made are all going to like be like, you know, he did that for, you know, it's a sellout. It's a sellout. And so I feel like, you know, God has like put me in these great situations and given me these great opportunities that I just can't accept. And I feel like I've always done the right thing. I feel like every decision I made is the right one. It's the correct one. It's what I believe in. But I've been like so close to like, you know, maybe getting to where like you are with millions of followers and like you get all the action and I can start cutting a revenue off of money off of this stuff. And I feel like I get right there and I can't take it. I just cannot accept it. And so after that, the John Daniels things, I just stay out there for like 3 days. I was stuck out there on their camp. I was miserable. Called Ray. Ray got me out of there. I flew home. I went to Handlebar J that night sang, you know, but then after that, I just canceled all my shows. I canceled everything I had. I was just depressed. I was like, I just don't feel like singing. I don't feel like doing no music. Canceled my shows. Got my daughter up to Baltimore to go to college. Got her up there. I wasn't making any money because I wasn't playing. Got my daughter into college, and then when I came home, I was just like so depressed and so like needed somebody to help me get out of the funk I was in, and I didn't have that person, you know. And then my daughter was gone. Like she was my everything, you know. My daughter's my best friend, and everything I did was for her, and I just wanted to be a good man for her. And like now she's across the country, and I'm at home like just in a funk. And so like about 4 months ago, I just left my house with only what I had on, just my boots, man. Like Amarillo by morning. This is just what I got on, and haven't been back, and had nothing. Just left with what I had on, and went to church. Started going to church. I started going to this men's group on Tuesday night, and I don't even know how I got to this men's group, and it was crazy. I walk in, they have this full setup, this full band. This place is the Trinity Church, and it's like the most beautiful thing. You got like 700 people there on a Tuesday listening to this band, and I walk into this place, and pastor that night, I listened to his message, and he says this right here. He says, who is your worst enemy? Who is it? Who's your worst enemy? I thought in my head, you know, who I thought it was. I'm not going to say that here, but I thought that's my worst enemy right now, which was a lot of overcoming stuff at home. And he said, you are your own worst enemy. You can tear yourself down quicker than anybody else. The decisions you make will bring you up or put you down. Don't let anybody else make those decisions for you. You are your own worst enemy. And I knew that night, like my message was, if I go back to that, I'm only taking steps backwards. I'm not moving forward. I don't know what I can be by myself. I just know that I can't overcome some of the things that I'm overcoming because I'm taking 2 steps backwards all the time. And 26 years I've been been with this woman, and it was a lot of hard times, and I love her. I think she's a great mother, and she's done some great things for me. But there's also been some trying times that I just can't be good. I can't be the man that I know I am, and I can't be the good person that I know I can be. So I went to that church. I got a clear message on what I need to do, and so I just didn't go home. And then I started going to that church. The pastor said, "Hey man, would you lead the men in worship?" I said, "What?" He said, "Would you lead the men in worship?" We lead the men in worship. They have a viewing, like 200,000 people go online and watch him as well. So we'd love for you to come tell your story, sing a few songs, and at least lead the men in worship, man. And I said I would be honored to do that. So I got to go do that, and it was so special. I got to tell my story. I sang 7 Spanish Angels, and I sang This Time, and it was like the most purest form of anything I've ever done. Like I felt God real close that night. Then I met another person who changed my life at a good time. I mean, I was in a rough spot, and someone came and pulled me out of it, and was kind to me and believed in me. And there was a show I wasn't going to do after Washington. I went to Washington, Vancouver. I got to speak in front of all these people. I called you on the phone. I said how scared I was speaking. Like, you give me a mic and a mic stand, I feel like I own the world. You put me out there with no mic stand, just a microphone in my hand, walking around trying to speak. It was the most uncomfortable I've ever been. I think I pulled it off pretty good. I had about 25 minutes, and there was a moment, and I got to talk to these people. That's why I was talking about you and Andy, where like there's 2 people in the world that, you know, I would say I could be coached by. I would take these guys' advice. I would respect them for it. I talked about everything from prison to this, and I was so afraid. And then when we were transitioning into, after I was done talking, I talked about This Time and where I wrote this song from in prison and how it's my anthem. And I was supposed to go from this transition to saying, boom, now I'm going to sing This Time. The song wouldn't play. And I had this dead silence, right? So now I'm on stage, and I'm just like, now I got to like crack jokes, and I don't know what to say or what to do. And I'm walking around just like, I think I handled it pretty well, but I was scared shitless. It was the most iced up I've ever been. And then a lady in the audience saved me. She's like, "Who's your favorite artist?" I was like, "Yes." I was like, "Well, George Strait's probably, you know." So I started talking. These people started talking to me in the audience. They were all clapping for me, and it became a cool moment. But I don't know if it was like maybe 30 seconds or whether it was like, 45 seconds. It felt like 5 years. And then the song came on. I sang This Time, and I got my first speaking engagement out of the way, and it was special. It was pretty special to be able to ask just to talk, just to tell your story. And I know you do that a lot. You do that a lot. I mean, listen, as an entertainer, I know when I'm entertaining, I'm singing songs, I'm doing a good job, and people are loving the songs. I think it's even next level when people just ask you to talk. Just come talk to these guys, and people come to listen to you. That's fucking powerful, right? That's powerful. I mean, we got a 5 fucking piece band behind you, and you're blaring music, and people are feeling the fucking music in their heart. That's one thing. We're making music for you. But when you come sit down and just listen to a man fucking talk, that's fucking inspiring, right? That's good shit. Who the fuck wants to go sit and listen to a man talk? So if you do, and you are that man, that means you're special. You got some good shit to say. Some shit's going to change some people's lives, right? That is fucking cool. So I got 1 under my belt. I hope I get more.
You want to do more?
I do want to do more, yeah. I do want to do more.
You got a hell of a story, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know all this.
Right.
And there's probably a ton more.
I've never told nobody. I've never told. That's why when I called you, I said, I want to tell the truth about Carrie Lake and about how I met these people and the things that are going on in my life. Just the whole truth, like down in the dumps, down for up and down, using fentanyl one time and almost died. Yeah. I've been up and down in this thing, man.
Yeah, dude, like fentanyl?
I didn't know it was fentanyl. I thought it was just for good perks. It was, it was turned into be fentanyl. Shit got cheaper, man. I just did it. I did it until I until I knew I couldn't do it no more, and I stopped.
I just don't understand fentanyl specifically. Because like that shit'll kill you.
It will kill you.
Like they put it on a dollar bill and leave it on a car, so you touch it and you fucking die. How do you take it intentionally?
I got lucky. I'm a lucky guy. I guess I'm a lucky guy, but I'm not proud of it. I'm just telling you, I've been through some times. So I've been through some depressing times.
Dude, I did crack one time for 3 days. So I ain't no angel, but fentanyl? Yeah, well, like hell no.
You did crack, I did fentanyl. Listen, man, it's a tomato.
I know, but I want to write songs about it.
Let's do it. Let's write a song. Let's write a song. That's one thing I'm really, really good at, is writing songs. So, but yeah, I got into so these are some mistakes I made. I've been at the bottom, and then now I feel like I've got all this stuff that I want to share. I think I can inspire some people. I think my story is inspiring. I think I think the power of prayer is important, and I think the people you associate yourself with and the people that you decide to listen to and gravitate towards are the most important things in the world. The people that you have with you that believe in you, the people that you look up to, the people that you take advice from, and and prayer.
100%.
Pray to God. Give it all to God. Ask him for what you need. Pray for everybody else, and listen to the people that got their shit together. Listen to Brad. Listen to Andy. See what they do, how they act. What do they do to get where they're at? What are they saying? What are they doing? And grab onto that and use it. It's free. Shit's on the internet. Go watch it. It's free. Go get it. Go get it and try to use it. If it doesn't work for you, you tried, right? And so those are the things that I'm doing now. I got 11 songs that are getting ready to come out. We got 11 new songs. One's about prayer. I wrote some gospels. I'm proud of them. I wrote some honky tonks called Cocaine and Whiskey. I wrote a song called 1985. Take me back to 1985. When times are easier. And it's just so I've got a great set of songs. Here's the deal. If your wife likes one of them, I know they're going to be good, right? She liked that bottle in the beginning. It's Song of the Year. So, I'm hoping this song inspires some people. I get back on track. I'm looking forward to the future. And, like I said, I pray. I gave it all to God. It's a dear God. Here's my finances. Here's my music. Here's my personal life. Here is my heart. Here's my soul. Do what you want with it. Do what you want with it and lead me in the right direction. And I called you on the way up here, and it was like a perfect situation. I feel like it was like godly. I just told her, I'm going to call Bradley. I'm going to ask him if he'll just let me come do this. We're up here. You said you'll move some stuff around, man, perfectly on the way out of town. I'm here with you. And just so you know, I got a lot of respect for you, man. I got a lot of respect for you. And you've, like I said, it means a lot when I call with a problem or an issue. And it ain't been a lot, but you first or second ring, man, you're always, hey, what's going on, man? How are you? So it's means more than you know.
Well, I appreciate it. And again, I don't hold people's past against them because I have, I've got my own story. But at the end of the day, a lot of people I think are unfairly labeled, especially with prison. Right. And to me, it's like, dude, you either went to prison or you didn't get caught.
Right.
I don't hold that. But dude, you're a good guy. Even though you might have made some mistakes, and you might make more. So have I. And I'm a good guy. So again, I think game recognizes game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there's anybody listening that puts on events, which I got a lot of people that put on events, you want to come talk. If there's any, organizations that want a freaking killer story, and then maybe bust out some songs.
That's the perfect thing. That's the thing. What I've been doing is they get all my story, and then they get a couple songs, and they get this time. Then I end it with this time, and this time is this time is the message. This is the one, and it hits everybody. I've got people who email me every day about this time. Today it was a woman who lost her kid, CPS, battled back to get it. She listens to that song every morning. 3 minutes. I get to spend 3 minutes in her with her car every morning, so she's battling back. This song has inspired a lot of people. It's got it's go over.
Where do people find that?
Josh Scott Music, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever, Amazon, Prime. It's all out there. So we're still streaming well. This time is my most popular song, even though that Bottle One Song of the Year this time is the one. It's my anthem. And so anybody that's listening that wants raw, good country music at the end of their story, you want double dip, it's the same price, get me to talk, tell my story, and sing y'all a few songs, and somebody who I believe I'm deserving of it. I believe I'm deserving of the opportunities. I believe I've earned the right to be able to do them, and I'm going to tell a story that's true. I'm going to tell the truth, and I think what I've been through is it's just been miracle by God, miracle after miracle after miracle, and I'd love to have an opportunity to come be a miracle at wherever these events are, and let God keep leading the way, and hopefully the stuff I say can change somebody's life or inspire one person, and I hope the music I play is good and it makes you feel good, and maybe find something in it for you or your family or anything. So I'd love to have that opportunity on this podcast.
Well, this podcast is definitely going to reach them, folks. I know your story will. If there's anybody that wants an artist to play country bar, any kind of venue, you're down for that.
Down for all.
What is your ideal scene? What are you hoping for?
My ideal scene would be just kind of what we talked about. I'd love to be able to walk out on that stage, maybe play a song, Let me play a song and then tell my story and end it with a 30-minute concert.
Why do you want to tell your story so badly?
Because it's God. Because I believe God has done all these things for me. There's no way that I fell into all these amazing things straight from prison without God. So I believe like this whole time I've just told I've been lucky to get into this, and I got lucky to meet Bradley, and Ray Herndon was so kind to me that night. He changed my life. Carrie Lake came out and see me, changed my life. I call Carrie on the phone now. She might be vice president. It's a great connection. We text back and forth every week.
Beautiful.
Right? So
I love Carrie. Carrie, I think, got screwed in Arizona.
She did. She did. So
for sure.
She got screwed. But all these things that have happened to me, like I just think I'm good, right place at the right time. I earned it. I'm really good. My voice is good. The songs are good. No. God gave you all this. I prayed for it for 8 years. God gave it to me. So I owe that to God. God wants people to know his miracles he works in people. So the reason I want to go tell my story is because I want to honor God. I want people to know what he's done for me, and the power of prayer is real, and he can do it for you.
Dude, that's awesome. And what's funny is if people listen or have been listening and listen to it again, they're going to be sitting there thinking like, dude, this guy's acting like, he's country artist of the world, worth millions of dollars, and it's all thanks to God. Because the way you made it sound like, look at all these things God gave, and it sounds like, dude, God, or not God, but the opportunity here, this close, boom, gone. Did your time, and then bam, right hook, gotta go do another 4 years. So everything you said are these massive letdowns, these massive blows to the head.
Yeah.
But yet here you are going, God did all this for me. Like your perspective is still positive.
Yeah, I believe if I didn't have that extra time, if I didn't get to that yard to get to that music room, my plan would have been different. My story would have been different. The timing would have been different. I could be dead. I could have got out and never met Ray Herndon. Carrie Lake would have been running for governor. I wouldn't have got Song of the Year in 2021 during COVID. COVID is where the decisions I made were the decisions that made me either a sellout or a man. I became a man. I became a man with honor that turned down these things that I don't think hardly anybody would in my situation. I turned them down.
You don't believe in.
And, and I get to be here with you, man, and I think that you respect me and my decision. That means a lot. Like, it means a lot that you allow me to come be a part of this on short notice, because I think you do, like, respect the decisions that I made, and I think none of that would have happened if I would have got out when I was supposed to, if God wouldn't have gave me that extra time. Obviously, maybe I needed that extra time. Maybe I needed the extra time to become a better man, to become a better person. Maybe I wasn't ready to get out. I just got to believe. I got to have faith, and I got to believe that everything that's happened has happened for a reason. And I mean, all the beautiful things that have happened to me since I've been home are because of that extra time, because of what I did. And so it's got to be God. It's only God. It's the power of prayer. And the reason I want to tell everybody that is because I do want to glorify God. I want to honor him, and I want to tell people of his miracles he's worked in my life. And I believe there's a lot more.
What do you think of that?
Amen.
Well, you just told about 1 million people, because this thing gets about 1 million downloads a month now.
Yeah, it's going big
and growing.
Listen and go listen to this dude. All the clips he makes, all the stuff he says. If you aren't listening, go listen, man, because it'll hit you in the mouth. You won't like some of it, but you'll respect it.
Hey, it is the truth. I got to tell you that. Folks, more importantly, go follow this dude. Show him some love at Josh Scott Music on Instagram, or go to joshscottmusic.com. Go listen to This Time,
that bottle. Redneck Enough to Be Dangerous.
Redneck Enough to Be
Into
Dangerous.
You, I Don't Miss Anything. Killing Me Again. We got 11 new songs coming out here shortly. I'm honored to have this platform. I'm honored to, and anybody that goes and just listens to the song or shares it, I'm absolutely blessed. I'm honored that you do. I would love for you to share my music and just check it out, whether you like it or not. Maybe somebody you know will like it. Like, share it, send it down the road. It's easy to do. That's kindness right there. Just boom, 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 send it. Don't even download it. You ain't got to download it. Just go listen to it for free and share it with a friend. Put it on a playlist.
Boom.
Folks, God bless.
Thanks for coming in.
Brad, thanks for having me, man.
And as always, till next time, keep it real.
You bring value. Bring it by assuming it. You can assume value. How many people here want more money? Look, there's an assumption. And who ain't raising their hand? Holy shit, are you stupid? Folks, you got to unlearn that shit. You want more money. I'm telling you guys, I've been broke, I've been rich. Rich is better. And the gap is widening.